What's up, guys? This is Ray J back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with SPY, Tesla, and the broader markets. I'm going to break down some big news involving Elon Musk and what President Trump just said about his tariffs. Just know that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I'm saying as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out my Moomoo link. Moomoo is an amazing global brokerage that consists of many exclusive offers. If you sign up and deposit $100, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks. If you deposit $2,000, you're guaranteed 25 in total. And deposit $5,000, you're guaranteed 60 free stocks. You also qualify for an 8.1% APY on uninvested cash, and the offer ends at the end of July. So check out my link that's down below. Anyways, as far as Tesla's going, we got this rejection right over here. We're looking at this 310 area as the main support. And we have to hold this to see if we could get some kind of bounce or not. So we're testing some support right here near our 20 EMA at 310. If that fails us, we're going to be at risk of dipping closer to like 305 to 303 for a bigger drop. So be very careful at this key support. I also want to give you guys a warning about how tomorrow is going to go, because when it comes to tomorrow, it's going to be Wednesday, July 16th. And we also have our PPI data report coming out. This is expected to see basically slight increases month over month, but basically the same thing from what we previously saw during a year over year basis. So PPI is very similar to CPI. This could cause some volatility. And an hour before the market opens, we do have this data coming out. When we had CPI come out this morning, the market basically gapped up and pushed and then it just rejected. So we're going to see if we get a very similar move or not with PPI coming out for tomorrow. So keep that in mind, guys. That's going to be very important. If you're holding anything overnight, be careful. Elon Musk reposted this on his X page. This person known as Joe said that they have taken 116 Robotaxi rides over 380 miles, and they've given several dozens of people. Most they have never met. And it's very, very awesome because they're talking about how, we're seeing very, very good firsthand impressions of people's experiences with the service. And many people are very excited and they're interested in finding out more. They're also talking about how effective the Robotaxi has been, and they've been having very, very good experiences. Musk has said that's very awesome news. Then Elon Musk reposted this. Basically, in India, the Model Y is launching. They're going to be launching a showroom in Mumbai, India. And basically, it has maximum efficiency with smoother rides and an all-new interior. On the outside, it has a very awesome redesigned exterior with improved aerodynamics, and that helps it unlock a better range, performance, and longevity. And the list goes on. It has all these other benefits that we're seeing right over here for the Model Y. You have access to over-the-air software updates, and it just looks very, very cool. So hopefully they get lots of audiences that are interested in this, and this could really help their sales to a nice extent. So we'll see how it goes. I do want to note, though, that the prices are very expensive. So it costs about $70,000 USD worth of Indian rupees to buy one of these Model Ys over there because of the high tariffs that Tesla's facing. But despite that, things are going very, very well. Now, there's been some news involving President Trump. He just announced a deal with Indonesia. Although we're still waiting for more details, I just want to say that so far, President Trump claims that they're basically going to try to limit all tariffs on U.S. goods. And he said that they've agreed to pay a 19% tariff on things when they buy from America. President Trump said that we made a deal with Indonesia. He spoke with their really great president. We have full access to Indonesia. Everything, as you know, Indonesia is a very strong player on copper. We have full access to everything. We will pay no tariffs, so they're giving us access into Indonesia, which we never had. That's probably the biggest part of the deal. So that's what President Trump is talking about. By the way, these are his quotes. And then he said that the other part is that they are going to pay 19% and we're going to pay nothing. He said it's a good deal for both parties. And once again, they have more things to be announced. He also said that India is basically working along that same line, and we're going to have access into India very, very soon. That's what President Trump has said so far. We're going to see how things end up going, but that is some very important news. And that's why this may cause some volatility. So keep that in mind. As far as Tesla goes, we're watching 310. If that does not hold, we're going to be at risk of dipping to 305 to 303. If we hold 310, we could try to rebound back up to 313 to try to push back up. Once again, it also depends on our PPI data coming out tomorrow before market open. So we'll see if Tesla dips here. It is looking kind of weak. We're going to see if 310 holds. If not, we could be dipping lower. So please keep that in mind. In terms of SPY, we're trying to hold this white trend line right here. We're dipping to the support, the exact level I called out, 623 to 622. We got to hold this in bounce. We need to hold this white trend line. If not, we could be dumping to 620 or below. On the QQQ, we're making higher highs and higher lows. However, it is rejecting here. There's going to be a risk of downside unless we get back up at 558. If we don't, there's a gap to fill back down towards 556, and that could cause some downside in case we get some kind of rejection. The IWM is rejecting. Now, keep in mind, the Russell has a head and shoulders. Unless we get back above like 222, we're favoring the downwards direction towards 217 or below. For others out there, we also happen to have ES testing 6285. We need to hold this to bounce. If not, we could be dipping all the way down to the lower 6200s. NQ is also rejecting here. We have 23,000 support alongside 22,942. We could be continuing to fall below 23,000 as time goes on. So please keep that in mind. That's going to be very important for how things end up going. So that could also contribute to the downside we're seeing. For Bitcoin, we're dipping. We're going to see if 115,000 holds. If not, we could be dipping all the way down towards this imbalance around 113,500. For Nvda, we're sort of rejecting. We haven't really lost 169. If 169 fails, though, this could start tipping to fill this gap. We need to hold 169. It might be testing that, so we're going to see if that holds or not. On Aapl, we're kind of consolidating. We like to get tighter and tighter, so I think Aapl is just forming a wedge like this. It's basically just getting tight and tight and tight. Not really a whole lot is going on with this. So please keep that in mind. That's what's happening, at least thus far. Netflix is making lower highs here. We have to see if we can break past 1269. If not, we could continue to fall. For AMD, we're looking bullish. As long as we don't end up losing 150, this is favoring an attempt for 158 or above. For Coinbase, we have support at 382. If that fails us, this could be dumping. But as long as we're above that, we're favoring an attempt to bounce for 390 plus. For Amazon, we're making higher lows. If we end up losing 224, we're going to be dumping. As long as we hold this, we're looking for 228 as a potential resistance. If Meta ends up falling, we're making lower highs here, and we could be dipping back down towards 709, and then eventually back down towards 705. We have to see if support holds, but overall, we're making lower highs, so this could be dipping to like 709 to 705. Google's looking bullish, making higher lows. We're going to be looking for an attempt for basically 185 plus. Microsoft is looking bullish. As long as we don't lose 502, we're going to be favoring 510. And then last but not least, the VIX is showing some signs that wants to bounce, but keep in mind that we had this falling wedge. A big falling wedge, which is starting to break out slowly, kind of like stair-stepping. So we have to see how this goes. So keep that in mind. That's what we're seeing, at least thus far. So as far as the market's going, it is a little bit weak here, but there's going to be a big test here. Can we hold this white trend line and bounce, or do we lose this and dump more? I'll be watching to see if we hold support or not. And then Tesla also has support at 310. We got to hold this, or else this is going to be dipping more. It is looking a little bit weaker, so there is going to be a higher probability of some downside. So be careful with Tesla. I want to be very, very blunt about that. But we'll see what happens tomorrow. So if you're holding anything overnight, any kind of position, options, or whatever, be careful. We do have PPI data an hour before the market opens, which could cause some volatility again. So be careful, guys. Thank you all so much for listening. I'll see you guys very soon with one more update in just a couple of hours, and peace out.